Rain was rare in the sunny kingdom of Solaria, and lately it hadn't fallen for many weeks. The rivers shrank into puddles, the flowers wilted, and even the clouds seemed too tired to gather. But in the heart of the palace lived a joyful soul, Princess Lila. Lila was not like most royals. She didn't care for silk dresses or golden carriages. What she loved most was the rain, its rhythm, sparkle, and the way it made puddles perfect for jumping. Every day, as the sun blazed down on the dry gardens, Lila would step outside and look up to the sky. "Come on, clouds," she would whisper with a smile. "Let's dance." One day, as the grass turned brown and the animals grew thirsty, a single, tiny cloud drifted over the kingdom. Everyone else hid from the sun, but Lila ran outside. As the cloud let down just a few drops of rain, Lila twirled, giggled, and spun through the mist. She danced with her arms wide and her heart open, laughing as if it were a grand celebration. From behind the mountains, other clouds peeped out, curious. "What is that?" they whispered. "It's joy," said the little cloud. "Real joy." Touched by Lila's happiness, the clouds gathered together. Slowly, they floated in, heavy with rain and filled with wonder. And then, splash, the skies opened. Rain poured down, not in a storm, but in a gentle, musical shower. The kingdom gasped. Farmers cheered, flowers lifted their heads, and the dry earth drank deeply. And Princess Lila? She danced and danced until the puddles reflected the rainbow. From that day on, whenever Solaria needed rain, Lila would twirl beneath the skies. Her joyful dance became a tradition.
Once upon a time, high above the clouds, there lived a kind and curious girl named Princess Raya. Her castle floated gently in the sky, painted in the softest shades of pink and gold. But the thing she loved most was the rainbow. Every day, she would sit on her fluffy cloud balcony and watch the rainbow stretch from one end of the sky to the other, shimmering in red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. One morning, the rainbow didn't appear. The sky was dull and pale. Princess Raya gasped. "Where has the rainbow gone?" she whispered. She rushed to her royal telescope and peered far across the skies, but there was no sparkle of color anywhere. Determined to find the rainbow, Princess Raya packed a little bag. She packed star biscuits, a moon map, and her glowing feather pen. She called her dove, Luna, and they soared into the sky, following a faint shimmer in the clouds. Their journey took them to the Mountain of Mists. At the Mountain of Mists, they met the Keeper of Colors, a gentle old man with a beard like cotton candy. "The colors are missing because people have forgotten to smile," he said sadly. "Without joy and kindness, the rainbow fades away." "But I remember," said Raya. She took out her pen and began to write letters of joy and kindness. She tied them to Luna's feathers, and together they delivered messages to children all over the world. Each message said something special: "You are loved, be kind, share your smile." As children read the messages, they smiled, laughed, hugged, and helped one another. With every giggle and act of kindness, a piece of the rainbow returned. Red glowed in the east. Orange stretched across the clouds. Yellow danced with sunlight. Green, blue, and violet followed until the whole sky shimmered once more. By sunset, the sky blazed with colors so bright they made the stars jealous. The rainbow was whole again. Princess Raya waved to the world and whispered, "Never stop smiling." That night, back in her floating castle, Raya sipped stardust tea and looked at the glowing arc across the sky. She knew she had done.
Once upon a time, high above the earth in a fluffy white cloud, lived a curious little raindrop named Rhea. Rhea loved listening to stories from older raindrops about the world below the mountains, rivers, forests, and oceans. But Rhea was scared. "I don't want to fall," she said. "What if I never come back? What if I get lost?" The older drops just smiled. "Falling isn't the end," said one kindly drop. "It's just the beginning of something wonderful." One breezy morning, the cloud rumbled and shook. It was time. One by one, the raindrops began their descent to earth. Rhea trembled, but a soft breeze whispered, "Be brave, little one." And so, with a deep breath, Rhea let go. She fell through the sky, spinning and giggling, until plop, she landed gently on a bright green leaf. The leaf welcomed her with a sparkle. From there, Rhea slid into a stream. She flowed past stones, under bridges, and through meadows filled with dancing flowers. She met fish, frogs, and even a family of ducks. "This is amazing," she laughed. Eventually, the stream led Rhea to a great wide river, and then, at last, to the endless ocean. Rhea marveled at its size. "Will I stay here forever?" she wondered. But the sun had other plans. It shone gently on Rhea, lifting her back into the sky as warm mist. Up and up she floated, back into the clouds where her journey began. "I'm home," Rhea cheered. The old raindrops smiled. "See, you were never lost. Every drop has a journey, and every journey has a purpose."
The Princess and the Magical Talking Cat. Once upon a time, in a kingdom full of lavender fields and singing fountains, there lived a clever young princess named Ivy. She had read every book in the royal library twice and could solve any riddle before breakfast. But nothing had ever surprised her quite like the day she met a talking cat. The cat had soft black fur, bright green eyes, and a rather royal way of sitting on the palace wall. "Good morning, Princess," he said with a flick of his tail. Princess Ivy blinked. Did you just talk?" "Of course I did," said the cat. "I'm actually a prince." Long story, magical accident, old spell, you know the type. Intrigued and delighted, Ivy invited the cat into the castle. Together, they searched the dusty corners of the library for the ancient spellbook that could break the enchantment. At last, hidden behind a shelf of cookbooks, they found it, the book of mostly forgotten magic. With a whisper and a swirl of light, Ivy read the spell aloud. The cat began to glow, and poof, in his place stood a young prince with tousled hair, regal robes, and the same mischievous green eyes. He bowed deeply. "Thank you, Princess. But, may I be honest?" "Of course," Ivy said. "I miss having whiskers. And naps in the sun. And scratching behind my ears without anyone judging me." Ivy laughed. "Then perhaps you don't need to be a prince to be happy." The prince smiled, picked up the book, and flipped to another spell. With a flash and a meow, he was a cat again, this time with a tiny golden crown perched between his ears. From that day on, the talking cat became Ivy's most trusted friend. He sat beside her at royal meetings, snuck treats from the kitchen, and gave advice with a flick of his tail. And though some still wondered why the princess kept a cat at her side instead of a prince, Ivy would just smile and say, because he's already perfect, just the way he is.